In recent years, many news organizations have been building product teams. These teams are typically comprised of engineers, designers, and web developers who are responsible for the design, launch, and improvement of products. While the word product means different things in different contexts, in this video, we will use it to refer to any medium or format for sharing your news coverage with your audiences. A product could be an app, a website, a newsletter, a podcast, or take many other forms. I am Germán Santana from the Google News Initiative, and in this video, we will give you a brief introduction to the topic of product design, walking you through the stages of planning and launching a new product. Today, many news organizations use design sprints to test out new product ideas. A design sprint is a way to solve problems by designing, prototyping, and testing ideas with your audience as cheaply and as realistically as possible. In a design sprint, there are 5 steps. First, understand. Second, ideate. Third, decide. Fourth, prototype. And fifth, validate. Let's go through each of them, starting with understanding the needs of your audience. You should design a news product with a clear sense of who your target audience is, what needs you're solving for them, and how your product will stand out from other existing products. Check out our video on how to conduct surveys to understand your audience. The next stage is ideating solutions to your challenge. When ideating, create a simple definition, draft, or sketch of the product, emphasizing its key features, such as the format of the product, what types of news coverage it will provide, and how regularly it will be released or updated. Here are a few examples. If your product is a newsletter, write a sample version. If your product is a YouTube channel, produce a sample video. If you are releasing a podcast, record an example of an episode. During this phase, you may want to generate as many ideas as possible. Google recommends an approach called Crazy Eights, where your team is challenged to come up with 8 distinct ideas in 8 minutes. Check out the link to learn more about how to implement this design sprint. Next, and perhaps the hardest, decide. Review all your ideas and decide which ones to bring to life. A couple of approaches to reaching a consensus include what are often called best shot and battle royale. Best shot means you go with a single idea that received the most support. Battle royale means you go with multiple ideas and test them against each other. In either case, you want to be very clear about how you'll measure the success of your news product. Next, let's talk about the process of building your product. After you've selected one or multiple ideas, you will want to develop a prototype, or what's called a minimum viable product. Minimum viable products, or MVPs, have the most basic features to preview what your products will offer, but they are more developed than the drafts you created in the ideation stage. By creating an MVP, you can test assumptions, get feedback from your audience, save money, and reduce risk before you build a full-fledged version of the product. A few best practices in designing your MVP. Limit your MVP to key features so it's just enough to provide value to your audience. State your objective from the outset. Decide what you want to validate and how you will measure it. Keep your MVP experiment on track by setting a date to evaluate results. This brings us to the final step, validate. You will want real feedback from users of your MVP. We recommend starting with about 100 users, who can be recruited in a few ways. You can reach out directly through email, social media, or talking to people at events, or you can promote your ideas and generate awareness. Consider sharing more about your MVP over social media and invite users to test it out. That is the end of this lesson. But the Google News Initiative offers many other lessons for news organizations. Please check out the other videos in this series if you're interested. Google also provides in-depth coaching for groups of news organizations through our labs. You can learn more and apply on our website, ge.co/newsinitiative. Thank you, and please send us any questions or feedback at contactgni@google.com.